What's going on, guys? My name is Sean G. Lynch. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm going to straight get into it. These are three ways that you can really boost up your career as a music artist. These are three main things that you should be focusing on, and in my opinion, some of the more important ones. So number one, if you're starting up or if you've been an artist for a little bit and you haven't been able to push through the gap, and you haven't been able to get a gig, or you haven't been able to land multiple gigs, or you haven't made what they call a tour, right? So a lot of artists, what they'll try and do is get booked for gigs, and there's a certain way that you should go about getting yourself set up to go about getting gigs. That is, number one on this list for me. Right now, the most important thing that you can do as a DJ is get a gig or host your own gig. Either one of those two is going to give you mountains of, motivation. It's going to give you mountains of credibility to start, right? So once you get your first gig or you host your first gig, welcome to being a DJ. And I'm going to, follow up this with two additional steps that you should be doing, to help your music career. Number one being, getting yourself a gig or hosting an event yourself. Number two, what you want to do is have a campaign for social media. You want to have an idea of what you're doing on social media. Your goal as an artist is not to just post random things, and be kind of aware about your brand. You want to have a target in mind, because your target, keep in mind, is going to be following you to the shows that you book for yourself. So you want to have a campaign set in mind. And what I mean by a campaign is set a goal for yourself, and do things in succession leading up to that goal, so you can get to the end result. So I'm going to throw an example out there. What you can do is you can sell a t-shirt with your name on it or your logo, okay? So your campaign, right, you want to get more merch. You don't just want to make a t-shirt, put a brand on it, and start putting it out to some of your friends. What you really want to do is focus on a bigger picture. You really want to start pushing your merch because you want to push your brand, because you want other people to be exposed to your brand. You want them to be wearing your clothes at the show. You want them to be telling their friends about you. So really give them a reason to buy your clothing. Now, that's part of a campaign. You want to sell your clothing with your brand, that's fine. So you have to advertise your brand somehow to connect to that piece of clothing. So if you're selling a t-shirt with your name, with just your name on it, right, you want to give an idea who you are. So what you want to do is make a couple posts on Facebook, have your Facebook page up, your group, just talk about who you are, what you're doing, and what you're selling. And just make sure that you're also doing other things consistently on the side with that as well, as far as interacting with your fans with new music, new announcements, right? Right? So as an artist, you kind of want to have a campaign where if you want to get something done, get it done. Don't just, say you're going to do it and not do it. Say you want to get something done. This is how I'm going to do it. These are the steps I'm going to take. This is how many t-shirts I want sold, etc. The list goes on. So number two would be setting a campaign for your social media. That can be for your music. That can be for merch. It can be for your brand. It could be for a new mix. It could be for a new show, a new virtual show, tickets, something that you're doing. Make sure you have a campaign set up for it. That can include paid advertisement if that's something you want to do. I do recommend that to upcoming artists to get familiar with Facebook ads and how that's actually helping people like big artists like Excision, Subtronics, a lot of bigger guys out there, and not only that, a lot of bigger musicians have their play and kind of just having their brand exposed to everybody at a given time, right? Including their target audience, who they want listening to their music, so that they can tell their friends and it can just grow and grow from there. So that number two campaign would be the second most important for me. Number three, the most, the third most important thing out of this list, it's not up there on the list of importance, but it is number three on my list that I'm sharing with you guys today. Number three, to be more successful, is to understand how to engineer your tracks. Become an expert at knowing what sounds good to the general people that are listening to the music that you're trying to put out. It's not so much, labeling people or you're labeling your music, labeling other people's music. What you're kind of doing is just becoming an expert at understanding what people want to hear, what people like, what's trending, and really, getting that sound perfected. And if it takes tutorials on YouTube, if it takes buying a master class from one of these bigger guys like Deadmau5, and I do name a lot of big guys because it is my goal to help more artists actually put out their full potential and thrive in the music industry. And I'm tired of seeing people pussyfooting around. Excuse my language, but I'm really passionate about helping other people, as well as myself. I'm helping myself. I'm an artist too, so we all go through these different kinds of struggles. It's just some people will go ahead and take the initiative to learn about other parts of the business of the industry. So I want producers to focus on making music, DJs to focus on DJing, so that that's what you love, that's what you do, that's what you're good at, right? If you start tying in marketing and advertising and putting together EPKs and putting together resumes, and a lot of these bigger guys have teams for a reason, because you get so overwhelmed, and it's a natural process. You get so overwhelmed in your head with good ideas and things that you want to do. You have so many things to do. You don't know which one to do. So you go looking out for help, seeing which one's more important. This one, this one, this one. To the point where you start working on this, and you're like, oh my God, maybe I should start working on this. So it really helps to have a system in place, a blueprint for yourself, a roadmap, essentially, so you always have something to follow, or something that's always running, always working for you, so that you can focus on your craft and what you love. So I'll end it on that because I know I'm going a little bit off track here. As you see in my later videos, I'll do coaching techniques and lead generation, social marketing, things like that. But I'll end it on that. Number one thing as becoming a thriving musician or an artist, get yourself a gig or host yourself a gig. Okay. Number two, have a campaign for your social media. Have a campaign for your social media marketing and your advertising, and anything that you want to achieve with your brand. And number three, become a master at engineering your own tracks. Listen to what other people are making, but of course, make it your own. But use elements that are working, that people are listening to, and your spark, your difference in how you interpret that sound. Once you've perfected it, that'll be your magic. Because when you hit that magic, you've already sort of, condensed your target audience. So your target audience would want to be here. But if you're over here, you know, what's the only way you're going to get there, right? It is by introducing yourself to these people, or introducing yourself to that audience. And how are you going to do that? You have to connect with them, and there has to be ways that you can connect with them, either through the sound, right? Your brand, the clothes that you sell, what you stand for. So people don't just, believe what you say. You show who you are and what you are. So it becomes more than just talking. Guys want to, see you. So you want to get to this target audience, and then start mass producing your music. But those are three things that I think are super important that you need to follow. My name is Sean G. Lynch, and I'm going to be making more videos in the future. So look forward to you checking it out. Thanks. Bye.